We should be live on Twitch.
I see you live. It's 5, 6, 7. All right. Well, in that case, welcome to So Let Me Ask You This. Welcome to So Let Me Ask You This, where two buddies discuss life's trivial topics and insignificant issues. But TK, I think you have a kind of significant issue you want to address off the top.
Not an issue. I just want to start this podcast out by saying rest in peace to a Grambling and Gamma Psi legend, LT Leon Thomas. He passed away today. I think he was battling cancer, but he is known as the voice of Grambling. He announced all the football games, and he was known by everybody. Like, they're gonna have to have his homegoing celebration on the football field. Like, if that's not already in discussion, I'm putting it in discussion now. So rest in peace to LT, man. Good Grambling legend.
Well, may he rest in peace. And there's pretty much no way to transition from that. But I will go ahead and say that right now, I am currently in Detroit, Michigan, the place where you and I met and became friends. Yeah. But I do not live here anymore, right? And as we know, summer is in full swing. Vaccinations are up and vacations are back, right? So, TK, when you go on vacation, are you the type to be on the run, be moving, shaking, going everywhere as fast as you can, or are you the type that's going to be sitting back chilling? How do you play it?
Personally, Martin, I like a little mix. So my wife is definitely the go. We're on vacation. This is what we're here to do. Let's plan things out. But what I've run into is that when you do that, you tend to miss some shit, right? Like when we were on our honeymoon, we planned to go to Tulum because we were married in Mexico. As you know, you were in the wedding.
I was there.
We planned to go to Tulum one day, and the boat or whatever it was left at like 7 a.m. Definitely did not make it. Simply because we were whipped, just physically, tired. So I like a good mix. I do think that when going on vacation, you should spend that time going out and doing things because you're on vacation. You could sleep at home. I totally get that. But at the same time, I'm on vacation. I want to get some rest and sleep because when I get home, life is not stopping. So
yeah, that's the thing about the whole you can sleep at home, right? I'm not sleeping at home. That's why I'm on vacation. I'm tired. Right. I'm sick of what I'm doing at home. I don't get sleep at home, so I want to go and relax. For me, when I'm on vacation, I need to have at least I suggest everybody do this at least once if you have the opportunity to. But you should travel by yourself once. So that's how you really know how you like to travel, because I realized, I didn't do this right at all. Like I could have played this so differently. And there's nobody to blame but yourself. So what I learned from that experience, I need to have at least one thing planned if let's say I'm there for 5 days, I need to have at least 3 things planned, maybe 4. Okay. But nothing before noon. People I'm not setting an alarm on vacation. Okay. If I'm looking at the water, I'm waking up whenever God intends that it's time for me to wake up. All right. That's first and foremost. And then whatever I'm doing, it's got to be refundable, because if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to. That's the whole reason I'm on vacation, spending this money to be here, because I don't want to do anything else. So but I do appreciate the person who has like the itinerary and the person who has the situation set up, because I would like to do some things. And generally, once you get there, by the time I get there, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've had 2 mimosas. I'm not planning anything. But my day is done. Right. So
you don't even have the ability to plan at that point.
Ability, want to, desire, none of it. None of it. Right. I'm not interested, I got nothing going on. I'm not interested in any of it. So I can't appreciate the person who does plan. But if you're going to get upset with me, like the person who has this itinerary of vacation, I'll go with them. But leave me if I don't make it in time, because I will figure it out. Now, That's leave real. Me. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave me at the resort. Leave me at the Airbnb. I'll have a good time. It's all good.
That's real. Most people, though, I feel like aren't like that. Most people are not independent travelers. Most people, really and truly, as trivial, I guess, as it sounds, or whatever insert word here as it sounds, most people are not good travelers. Like there are a lot of people out there that just absolutely suck at traveling. They don't plan anything. They can't be here at this time. They don't show up. They don't have the funds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are with a group, I think the best thing for you is to know your crowd. You have to know who you're traveling with and the way that they're going to like to move. If I know I'm going with Martin likes to sleep in, don't plan anything before 12 with Martin. Don't plan anything before 12 with Martin. Go get mimosas on your own. Go do your own thing. I'll catch up with Martin in the afternoon.
I might be there, but I also might not be there. You know what I'm saying? If you're depending on me to be there, then I suggest you reorganize your priorities, because I'm not depending on me to be there.
That's real. So are you considering this Detroit trip a vacation? Because you are on vacation, I guess.
I do consider it a vacation. I don't live here. So I mean, I definitely don't live here anymore. That's a fact. Because if I lived here, because you talking about people who are not good at traveling, me, I'm not good at traveling. I booked this flight thinking it was for tomorrow. It was for yesterday, right? So I have a hotel for tomorrow, but not for today, which is why I'm staying in one of my frat brothers' homes. Thank you so much. However, as you can tell, I wasn't great at it, but I'm definitely on vacation because I just would have went to my home if I still lived here. Like I wouldn't need a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you do have on a sweatshirt, so I'm like, wow. Meanwhile, we're still cooking down here in Texas, but my air is not on 78. So
I was about to say I haven't been outside yet today. It's 3:27. I do not, as a quick aside, not a fan of the Eastern time zone, especially if you're working. Like working, if you have the opportunity to, I highly recommend living in the Pacific time zone and working an East Coast time job, because like by this time, most of the time, I'm done with my entire day, all of it, and I'm sitting back. And guess what's about to happen? The NBA. Now I have 4 hours in between now and the NBA game. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do in this next four and a half hours. I just don't like, this is not time in my life that I have budgeted.
Well,
this
you're
is
in the
problem.
Go get a Coney.
All right. And speaking of Coney,
in the D.
Look, all right. So speaking of diners, you play fantasy football, right?
Yeah, I suck, but yeah.
Okay, so I had to give it up. I played it before, but I had to give it up because I was doing things like losing games to guys who don't know anything, and they were like starting kickers and no defense, and like all of this random happenstance things were happening, and it was like literally making me upset. So I had to give it up. However, I find immense amusement among like the culture of fantasy football, right? And so I know you're in leagues. Do your leagues have anything like any type of punishment for finishing in last place?
No, but we play for money, and I don't like to kick out my money for anything. So even if it's $20, I'm like, bro, y'all don't even know football. You know, like
I mean,
you're not even good at this.
I get that, but I would say this. What happens in week 7 when you know you can't win, but you also like, you know, you're not gonna win first place. There's no shot. You have no shot. Like you start, all your guys went down week 2. You know, week 1 was great. You know, you led the league week 1, but by week 7 it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your motivation to keep playing? Yeah,
I don't have any at that point. To be honest, I've come in like last place the last 2 years, or second to last, or at the bottom, regardless. Losers bracket. I stopped playing. I send my money over, and I'm done playing. I don't play anymore.
See, maybe your league should institute something like this man had in Mississippi. Now, I'm going to tell you about this guy's league and his punishment, which was to sit in a Waffle House for 24 hours. And for every waffle that he ate, he could shave an hour off of his time, right? So you get in there at, let's see, I think he got in there at, let's call it 10 a.m. Right? Let's say he gets in there at 10 a.m. He eats one waffle. Now he can leave at 9 a.m. the next day. Does that sound like something like perfectly legal to do? Right? You're good to sit there as long as you want to, as long as you're ordering food and eating it, right? Which in theory, that's what you're going to be doing. But is that something that you think that you could get? Is that something that you think that you could get your fantasy football league to get with?
My group of guys, probably not. They would all tell me to fuck off. But but that is hilarious though. I had not heard about that. That is so funny. And
So
do you know how big Waffle House waffles are?
I mean, I have been to a Waffle House before, but it's been at least a decade. I've
No,
seen pictures of from my man's Twitter thread of
they're huge.
Waffle House waffles. Yeah, they're not small.
No, they're not. Now, our good friend Ty,
Yes.
he would survive. He loves Waffle House. Like it's literally like one of his top restaurants. So, if you want to call it a restaurant. So Ty would survive, but me myself, I would not make it. I would sit there. I would have to sit there for a day, maybe 23 hours. I may order one waffle, but so how many waffles did this guy get through?
So he was in Waffle House for 15 hours total, which means he ate 9. And I'm going through the timeline now. He ate 2 in a row when he first got there, right? So 2 down, and he said his stomach was already grumbling. He said the staff didn't believe in him, but little did he know. My man hung it through, right? So he had 4 waffles by an hour and 10 minutes in. Now he only ate 9 waffles total, so he's almost halfway through the total waffle consumption. That's intense. To do it in a little over 70 minutes when you have 40, I don't know, 24 times 60. That's a lot. It's a lot of minutes. All right. So this
Dude, besides that, I don't want to sit and eat in a Waffle House. Okay. Every time that I go to Waffle House, it's 4 a.m. I just got out of the club, which obviously none of this is happening in 30-year-old TK, right? So it's 4 a.m. I just got out the club and I'm getting food to go. It still takes an hour for you to get your food for some reason, even though I'm watching you cook it, and I'm out of here. So I don't even want to sit and eat in a Waffle House, nonetheless, for a day. Imagine the things that he saw within that 24-hour period.
So one of the things that he saw: 2 children can't be older than 6 are up at the jukebox, absolutely jazzed to hear whatever they pick after Enter Sandman. The kids picked Eye of the Tiger, so he decided to order his 5th waffle. Then, right?
Okay.
He got half.
That gave him the motivation.
This is the picture of his 5th waffle. He said officially stuck in neutral at this point in time.
Doesn't count.
For our auditory listeners, he's got, I'd say, 35% of this waffle left, and it's not looking pretty.
Yeah.
He's got 3 hours. Yeah, it said 4.75 waffles down. And in the outside world, there's a man doing this, which is walking with no shirt on, doing like a bunny type hop. Because he's at a Waffle House in Mississippi, of all places, right? Like generally, I don't know about you, TK. Now, me, growing up in Louisiana, I've been to Waffle Houses and all types of locales with all types of clientele. Now, I imagine I have not been to this one in Mississippi. However, I have been to this one in Louisiana. It was just not in Mississippi. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like every Waffle House is the same.
Well, depending on where they are, because I've also been to Waffle House in Atlanta, which is a little bit different vibe than Waffle House in like Mandeville, Louisiana.
Waffle House in Atlanta is, is a premier restaurant though. Like they love Waffle House in Atlanta. In Atlanta, our good friend Ty has told me that there is a street where there's a Waffle House that sits across the street from another Waffle House.
Well, I mean, just in case one is busy. It's like Starbucks.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So by week 8, this is his week 8 roster. Because obviously people are like, dude, you've been in Waffle House for 8 hours. How bad was it? Carson Wentz, Josh Jacobs, Darrell Henderson. Who the hell is D Moore, who plays for the Carolina Panthers? DJ Moore. Duh.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore. DJ Moore. Nelson Aguilar, some Bryant tight end. I've legitimately never heard of him. Bryant tight end, who was a backup in Cleveland. Josh Kelly, the Rams defense, and Mason Crosby. I don't know why it was so bad, but I guess it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, at the end of the day, he sat there for an entire day. That's cruel and unusual punishment, but it's fair. I mean,
he did puke and rally after Wapple 6, made it through 9, and then left. But one thing that I found that was neat, I read his write up about the story after this, and they kind of, because he's actually, believe it or not, is a journalist. Go figure, right? So he just happened to come
right.
in last in this fantasy football league. Also was a journalist, right? Who covers like politics in Mississippi, which is just got to be an infinitely fascinating and disgusting beat. But
Yeah.
uh, but he wrote an article about his experience, and at the end of it, a woman who had driven like, I don't know, 10 some hours, right, after hearing of his tweets, and her son had passed away or something along those lines, and huge fantasy football fan, and like seeing him do this silly thing made her feel good, and she wanted to like give him a hug after. And I was like, I sent it to my sister, and I was like, this is one of the reasons why I became a sports writer. It's like stuff like that. Sports means stupid things to people, and it causes you to do things like sit in a Waffle House for 24 and a half hours straight. That's fun.
Yeah, that's understandable. Speaking of sports and doing things, etc., etc., Sons in 4, that guy has been made famous, viral, all of that. For those who don't know what we're referring to, there was a guy that beat up a couple guys at the Suns game, and they actually went in 4. So, leading into fights, have you ever had to defend your girl's honor by fighting, or just fighting in front of her? Have you ever had a fight in front of a woman that you are seeing at the moment?
I've had several altercations in the past. However, none of them directly relate to this, what we're talking about, especially because my man came up to the Ford Bronco plant just to get suplex. And now I actually like the Ford Bronco. I would like to buy one, so I'm kind of like, damn, would y'all just get back inside and get to it? You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know, the details had to get dealt with, as we saw. There was one instance in particular, though, that I'm reminded of as I saw this. I'm walking down the street in Washington, D.C. It's my first time, and I'm near Florida and Georgia Ave, near Howard University's campus. Anybody who's been to Howard will know this corner. And I'm walking past the McDonald's. And anybody who's been to Howard knows exactly what McDonald's I'm talking about, right? So we're walking past, and it's me and some of my frat brothers, and we're down there visiting. And this is still college time, right? And we're like kind of paired off, guy, girl, guy, girl, guy, girl. You know how it is. People talking, so on and so forth. So I see, and if you've never been to the DMV area, like, I don't think I want to put it, the type of people that will cause trouble in the neighborhood are generally like wearing skinny jeans and like North Face jackets, right? Which
They're fashionable thugs.
Well, if you've been in West Bloomfield, Michigan, the skinny jean and North Face jacket is a sure sign that you are not a threat, right?
Yeah.
You are not.
Right.
You're just simply not.
No, right. But on the East Coast, they tend to dress really nice and really be about that. You know, like they got the 40 tucked in their Balenciagas. You know, like.
So walking past McDonald's, and I hear, hey, light skinned shorty. What are they talking about? It's like, hey, light skinned shorty with the red pants. I look down, and I just so happened to be talking to a nice young light skinned woman who was wearing red pants. I was like, oh damn. I was like, okay. And then the next was, hey, light skinned shorty with the red pants talking to that bitch ass nigga. And I'm like, now I'm checking everybody else. Who else got red pants on? Who else got red pants? Because this can't be me,
Right.
And so I turned and looked a little bit, like kind of like out of the corner of my eye, and I seen it was over there. I made a business decision in that moment. Kept walking, kept on moving. Said, you know what? I could go figure out if they were talking about me. You know what I'm saying?
That's the reason. I'm just gonna assume they weren't.
That's the reason. They could have been. But you know what? When you assume, that makes an ass out of you and me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Went on, had a
No.
good rest of my evening.
Did light skinned shorty with the red pants keep moving as well, or
Oh, I mean, yeah, but the coldest part was we weren't even like really talking. We were just kind of walking in the same area. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Like we weren't really
mhm,
having like an in-depth conversation that my man was interrupting. It was
mhm.
like I was he could have did whatever he wanted to do. I was just such an unnecessary stray added to the situation. Like, you know
Right,
what I'm saying? It
right,
was like
right.
I could have been a light post, you know what I'm saying, or a trash can. It's like, hey, girl, next
Yeah,
to the trash can. But it just so
right,
happens you were standing next to me. And so that's the
right.
way he's like, bitch ass trash can, you don't feel any type of way about it. But I was like, that's weird, man.
But
What's your problem with the
you were the bitch ass
environment?
trash can. Yeah. Uh, Me myself, previously no, but I remembered this. In college, I actually got whipped. I got jumped at a McDonald's for something. I didn't even bring it on myself. Now, everybody that knows me out there, you know me extremely well. I can talk a lot of shit, especially before becoming a father and a husband, et cetera, growing. Prior to that, I was, I just could be reckless at the mouth. And all of those times never led to an ass whipping. But this one particular time, I was extremely intoxicated. I was in the back seat sleeping.
Sound
I
right.
wake up. I was knocked out. I wake up because I hear people screaming and yelling at McDonald's. I get out the car. I was in the car with my
Yo, what is it
girlfriend at
about
the time.
McDonald's, man? What's it about
Yo,
McDonald's?
it's the orange. It's the orange high C, man. It's the
It's the
orange high C.
Sprite.
It's something. It's something. It's something in the Sprite, the orange high C, and the Big Mac sauce. Because it makes no sense. Like because altercations always occur at Mickey D's. I don't get it. It started with recklessness, though. The guy that stole the
That's true.
McDonald's from.
That's what it is. McDonald's was forged in
Yeah,
in
this,
shiesty shit.
yeah, this is nothing new. So I wake up, I hear people yelling and screaming. I get out the car. I'm the only man in the situation. I was with the girl that I was dating and her roommate. I'm just trying to calm things down, and all in all, it didn't turn out too well for me. I got whipped.
Damn, bro.
So drunk at the time too that I'm a college student. So drunk at the time that as they were literally stomping me out, and the girl I was dating at the time, she's like there helping me. She's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm fucked up." In more ways than one. so
Are
so
you
that
okay?
would be it.
No,
But
no, I'm not. I'm not okay. Actually, I am actually. What you see here is a picture of down bad.
down bad. But I wouldn't. If my wife was to call me and say, "Hey, there's a problem," blah blah blah, my initial thought is going to be de-escalate the situation, because there is always the possibility that you are going to lose. Because if you lose in front of your woman, then what? Now next time you raise your voice at her, she's like, "Yeah, all right, I saw what John did to you. You better stop talking to me." you know, like so. I'm gonna just avoid that and keep. I'm gonna keep my manliness to myself. I'm gonna try to de-escalate the situation. Hey yo, yeah. Let's ride it out. You know what I mean?
I will say, like, hopefully you're not raising your voice at the woman too often, but I would say that it would be a level of, you sitting there, you talking with your boys, and you're having the LeBron debate. And it gets a little heated, right? And you
Right.
stand up and you're like, you know what I'm saying? And then I can see your wife being like, "You remember the last time you got it exactly?" Now
You
that
might want to sit down.
and that right there is enough right there, because then you can't really say anything because damn, she's probably right, but I'm
you
not. I don't want to sit down now.
you can't take a L. You just can't take a L in front of your woman, especially not like the way that young man took a L. I hope that he recovers quickly. But
Nah, but I want to know an L that I don't think that we'll be able to be recoverable from, right? Like, I think that I could deal with a proposal going bad, right? Like, because first of all, I'm not doing one of those big grandiose like it'll be on camera. You know, y'all can see it on Instagram, right? But the whole idea, I'm having like 85 people in front of me to ask one of the biggest questions of my life. Not a chance, no chance whatsoever. People aren't watching me sign big contracts. Why would they ask me to watch big questions? You know, I'm not doing that. So
Right.
I can deal with the failed proposal because that's between me, her, and God, right? You know what I'm saying? That no one else is going to hear about that unless I choose to let it be known. But
Mm.
when you get to the wedding and somebody stands up in like a 90s romance movie and says, I object, I don't think there's any coming back from that.
What do you do? I mean, seriously, like I know that they asked this question, and at my wedding, it was a blur. I'm sure they may have asked that, but you don't
They
really expect
absolutely,
anybody.
I guarantee you, they asked that question at your wedding. They've asked that. Well, not.
Okay.
I mean, hey, I was there, but they've asked that question every wedding I've been to, as they do at every other wedding that I haven't been to. But in every wedding, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, "What y'all gonna do?"
Right.
Right? Like, what y'all gonna do? And I've come to realize that it's kind of a childish thing to assume that, especially like your wedding, where there was like 8, 9 people there, right? It was a very small party, so it wasn't like
It
there
was
was.
30 people, bro.
No, I'm talking about, well, outside of your friends and family, like, you know what I'm saying, like
Oh
guests,
yeah, for
like,
sure.
you know what
For
I'm
sure.
saying,
For
of
sure.
like in terms of people who were of age. Of I imagine the people who would have been gall enough to object at a wedding, right?
Right.
But that's why I assume. I'm not saying that you had like a super small wedding, but in any event, I just don't. I can't imagine that it would ever happen. Like, how does that happen? And what do I do? I don't know. I call the police,
Is
or
that what you do
you
mid
know what it
wedding?
really is. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm a snitch. You know what I really do? First of all, it all depends on the circumstance, right? Because
Right.
who's objecting? Is somebody
Right.
objecting that I'm supposed to be getting married to her, or somebody objecting her getting married to me? Because in this scenario, I've never considered somebody until this very moment, somebody objecting that I should be marrying her, right? To be like,
Mhm.
for any reason, right? A,
Mhm.
because A, that this person wants to be married to me, or B, like maybe my wife is an unscrupulous character, you know what I'm saying, or my fiance. So I always contemplated it to be the other way. And it really depends on her reaction. Because what if she hits you like a different world and is like if you think about it, every time.
That's what I was going into. I was going to say the only time I've ever seen it happen and it work was A Different World, where Dwayne Wayne comes down the aisle, baby, please. But if I'm the husband or the fiance at that moment, I'm probably going to swing on him, bro. It's just going to be ugly. We're just going to be on World Star because, like, what are you doing at my wedding, sir? You could have DM'd her last night if you really felt like this. But don't wait until I put my clothes on. I done spent all this money. Like, there is a limo outside about to take us to the airport. Like, what is wrong with you? This is non-refundable. You could have told her this a long time ago. Do not wait until that day to tell me or tell her, you know, oh, I want to be with you. I object. No, we
Well,
got to fight, bro.
and then also, where do you like? How do you spin back from that? Right? Like, where do you go now? Okay, so it works. Okay, boom, boom, boom. You object. She comes with you. Now you're sweating because in every other movie you see they've ran far, far and traveled, tons of distance. They barely made it. Right? So now you're out of breath.
Right.
She's in a wedding dress. What are you supposed to do now? Like, go to lunch?
And what do
Like,
I do? Because now she's gone.
well, I know what I'm doing. I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting in that limo and I'm going on vacation. That's exactly what I'm doing. Because there ain't no way. Where I'm supposed to go back home?
No, I don't. That's tough. So why do they ask that? I mean, like, I know at this point it's probably just customary, so they ask just because it's a part of their little spiel. But don't you think at this point somebody should have taken that part out? Like, if you got a problem, keep it to yourself.
Or it's just like maybe address it at a different time. Maybe, I guess back in the arranged marriage days, it was like, hey, maybe somebody didn't have a chance to voice their opinion. But at this point,
That's true.
with social media, I feel like you could just tweet it. We could do this on
Yeah,
Twitter, and
yeah,
trust me, we'll
seriously.
go viral. Now, I feel like that's like a crazy kind of irrational fear in public of like what people are going to do. And I have another one for you. So I had to go to the bank. My days are all mixed up. I don't even know what time zone I'm in, but I had to go to the bank earlier this week to open an account. And so I had to like actually sit with the banker and mask on, all of that. But I'll tell you, sitting inside a bank for longer than like 5-10 minutes, just I get goosebumps. I hate doing it. I have just the feeling that somebody is going to, it's going to be my lucky day that somebody's going to kick the door down and rob it. And I'll be like, oh,
Really?
everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground. Phones on the ground. I don't know. Maybe I just watched like The Town a million times as a kid growing up, but it is the most like I know that it's an irrational fear. Like I know that it makes no sense, right?
Mm.
But if I'm in the bank for longer than 10 minutes, like I will avoid I go to the ATM, like I deposit checks at the ATM, like all of that. Like I actively avoid going into the bank. And I know that's kind of crazy. It's like being scared of getting on a plane because you think it might crash. Like, sure, it might crash, but the chances are so small. Like, but yeah, I'll just be thinking, man, people hungry, bro. And especially now, you got to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask in the bank.
But that's your fear that the bank is going to get robbed? Really?
Well, it's not that the bank is going to get robbed. It's all the ancillary things around the bank being robbed, right? Like, I don't necessarily care about, what happens about the fiduciary loss of the bank being robbed. But if the bank is robbed, I imagine I'm not going to be out of there in the 15 minutes I was planning, right? Like now the rest.
Now I'm late for work.
Exactly. Like if the bank is robbed, now I'm running on his schedule, right?
Yeah.
Like I could be in here for days. You know what I'm saying? Like who knows?
Inside man.
Right, exactly. Who even knows what the point of this robbery is? Maybe this robbery is a freaking plot to spring a trip to Mexico. I mean, I'm in LA. It's only, but so far away. Maybe they're trying to distract from the other thing that's going downtown where they're trying to get the gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like all of that, it's just too many movies I've seen. But yeah, bro, I'm sitting in the bank and it's because all of a sudden, man, dude, you're down. He's like, now you're down, face on the ground. And now, like, dude, I'm over here, like, trying to, like, hey, running late. And they're like, no police. And I'm like, bro, like, hey, man, get you. You know
I'm really just emailing my higher up, bro. I'm just
right.
letting them
Like,
know, don't look for me on Skype anytime soon.
are they gonna come back hit me with like, wallets and keys on the ground, phone on the ground? It's like, bro, I'm supposed to move my mouse in 15 minutes. I'm gonna lose my job. Like, then I'll be out here like you.
Right. Or else I'm gonna need to join the crew, bro. I drive well,
saying?
baby
Like,
driver.
Baby Driver was a dope. I love that movie. That was a dope movie. But that's one of my. I don't know if you have any other like irrational fears in public, but that is definitely one of my primary ones, and I can't shake it. Like I'm 31 years old. And I've been going into banks. I don't know since like 13, 14. Like yeah, I don't. Not my thing.
That's crazy. No, I don't have any irrational fears like that. I did want to say though, last pod you were talking about Moneybag Yo and you're going to the concert.
Yeah.
Today purchased our tickets for J. Cole.
Oh.
I know you hate him. But I will be going to see J. Cole in concert. So that is I'm out of the pandemic. Let's go. We get to see. It's not until October, but yeah, I know you're not a J. Cole fan, but
wow. What a
hey, so
what a way to spend your first. Wow. That is the most underwhelming. That's the most underwhelming thing I could think of to do.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like
the J. Cole hate. The
if
J.
they
Cole
were like, "Yo,
is so crazy."
I got tickets to J. Cole tonight," I'd be like, there's a game on, right?
Looks like I'm gonna be at a bank getting robbed, so I'm not gonna be there.
Right. Oh, I gotta run. That's J. Cole starts at 3. Oh, I gotta run to the bank. I'll be right back. You'll never guess what happened.
That's so funny. Hey, so I wanted to ask you because you mentioned being a snitch last when we were talking about whatever we just said, where you said you so you snitched in that aspect. So you snitched on your neighbor.
I had to. I'm not proud of it, but it had to be done. All right, so look. So first it was like, so I get up for work at ungodly hours. I get up for work at
Mhm.
like 4. I get up for like 4 o'clock in the morning. And first there was one of my neighbors was blasting New Day CNN at like 6 a.m. It's so loud. I'm sitting in my room and sitting in my home making my own TV program, right? With the volume up. I'm listening to it. And I can also hear hers, like verbatim. Like I know what stories they're doing, right? But come to find out, she's literally like 100 years old. Like she's literally 99 something years old. So it's like, okay,
Damn,
all right. And that was
that's
my thing. I was
an
like,
old lady.
and that was the only time it was ever super loud was that it was her TV. So I was like, maybe she hard of hearing. Maybe she hard of hearing and don't know the volume up that loud. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. Come to find out, she's literally 99 years old. Her name is Miss Evelyn, right?
Okay,
So
now you're friends.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I just turn this volume up a little bit louder. I get it. Okay. Plus, I live in an
Okay,
apartment. You know what I'm saying? You can't necessarily expect everyone to have a certain level. You know what I'm saying? You're going to hear your neighbors to a certain extent. However, one morning, okay, it is 5:30 in the morning, and there is literally 5 people outside of my apartment. And the way that it's set up, it's like I'm in a back corner, right? So my door is here. My door faces one way, and then I like the wall, and then another wall, and it opens out. So like my door is on one side. There's another side, and the back door, right? So the back door is open to the other apartment. There's like 5 people and a baby screaming, crying, like literally, 3 feet from my guest bedroom window, right? So I'm
right.
hearing this thing. I'm like, and the guest bedroom window, I live in LA, it's open, right? So I'm like, yo, it sounds like there's a baby in my home. Okay. So I go out there, baby lip is busted. That I guess it's a lot going on in that apartment, right? So I didn't say anything that day. Then the next day I had to record a podcast. And I'm sitting here, and as I'm sitting here setting up, I can hear in my headphones, I can hear bit, bit. I'm like, the guy I'm setting up, Eddie Spaghetti. This is his name. I'm like, Eddie, what the hell are you doing over there? You know what I'm saying? He's like, that's coming from you. I'm realizing the neighbors are fighting and it's getting picked up in my microphone.
Okay.
Okay. And now it's like noon. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and this is like the leaf blower. I hate it, but I understand it. Right. But this
Right,
one is just like, dude, come on. All right. So that was that. So I go close the window. It's hot. I'm in it. So anyway, the next day happens again, another fight. So then I go down and I tell, but here's the deal, TK.
is
I
this
go in,
domestic situation, like male,
there's
female?
there's so many people living in this apartment. I think
Oh,
it's
you don't
just
know.
yeah, it's hard to tell. Like
Okay.
there's at the
Okay.
age range, like this is how I knew it was a lot of people that I met who live in this apartment. I met the guy kind of came over after and knocked on my door and was like, "Hey man, sorry about all this and that." And he's like, "Yeah, I live with my girl who lives with her mom." And I was like, "No, no, no, you live with your girl's mom. That's
Yeah, right. Yeah.
that's what you do. You live with your girl's mom. Got it." But there's like all types of kids out that thing, man. It's just a lot of people in this. What I presume is a 2 bedroom apartment. So I go down to the office and I tell them, "Oh, but because the kicker is TK, they don't close the front door to the apartment." So I'm hearing all this, not because the windows are open, but because the door is open. The front door is open. They like installed a screen. And I'm like, so I go down to the office and I had told them like, yo, if you could just close the door. Like one night, like 9:30, they're blasting some movie and I could hear it like over Mike Breen and Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. Like literally hear like whatever, shoot 'em up movie they're watching. It's
You
like,
hear
yo,
over
yeah,
bang. Gotcha.
exactly. So I go and like in
A
a
whole
commercial
nother
break,
type
it's
of
like,
bang over here.
like, hey, can you close the door, please? It's 9:30 p.m. Right? Like it's
Right.
so they close the door. Next day, wide open. So I go down to the office. I'm like, if you could just tell them to close the door, that'd be great. Right? I'm not telling them how to
Mhm.
legislate their lives or anything like that. I promise you this, bro. They were loud one more day and haven't been loud since. I feel horrible about it. Haven't
Did
been
they get
loud since.
evicted?
No, they're all there. They're still there. I mean, I hear them coming in and out of the apartment still, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
But I
but
mean,
but
like,
the office.
but like this, but like they have gone down to standard apartment level noise, and now I feel bad because it's
You
like,
shouldn't.
damn, bro. But they're leaving the door open. I took video of it. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
You shouldn't feel bad. I got somebody evicted. I fucked up his credit. Don't
Damn.
care. Don't
Why?
care. He was ridiculously loud. We lived in an apartment. This was probably, I don't know, at this point 2 or 3 years ago. We lived in an apartment, and the dude was loud at all times. See, I'm not up at unreasonable hours. Like, I have a pretty standard sleep schedule, awake schedule, etc. Like, I work a 9 to 5, so I'm awake at normal times. I'm talking 3, 4 in the morning. We can hear dude next door having sex. We can hear dude next door like music
Wow.
blasting. We hear him uh music blasting, having sex, and just arguing with this girl, like with this random girl. It was just him that
Oh,
lived there.
I was about to say,
The
it sounded
night
like you were
that
just hating the one man having a good time until you got to the last bit.
Nah, but one night it was so bad that I beat on the wall. Like, we shared a wall. I beat on the wall.
Uh-huh.
He beat back.
Nah,
He
yeah,
beat
nah.
back. Nah, you gotta go, bro. Like, at the point where I'm letting you know, hey, yo, it's a little bit too loud, bro. And you say, hey, yo, fuck you. You gotta go. So, I mean, I would call the security people every night, pretty much, because every night he was loud. And I assumed that he worked in a restaurant or a bar or something like that, where he was getting home at 2, 3 in the morning and still
Yeah.
partying or whatever else, which is fine. I don't really care, but I should not be able to hear your music in my bedroom, as well as the fact that my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife, we have work in the morning, dude. Like, so I can't imagine if I had a baby. If I had a baby, it would have been me and him from day one. Because when my baby is sleeping, we walk around this thing like we're robbing the joint, like ninjas, like
I mean,
like
I've been there and witnessed how y'all go into Pink Panther mode. Very much like I'm slinking and slurping around. I'm not mad at you about it, but to
so he
that
got
point
evicted.
though,
Sorry,
that's see, he made it personal. See, I didn't
he
go
did.
in. I didn't go over there and be like, "Yo, can you close the damn door, please?" Right. I went very politely and was like, "Hey, it's 9:30. I kind of gotta pay attention to what's happening in this game for my job that happens at 4:30. Remember that first time I came and saw you today at 5 a.m. Like, I'm trying to do that thing again. It was like working from home. Yeah, if you could chill out. But yeah, I think it got to be at least like 10 people to live in that apartment. It's stressful over there.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard for them to remain quiet anyway. It's too many
Exactly.
damn
But
bodies.
like it made me think of something that it made me well just now because I'm actually a house guest right now, right? They don't have no space for no house guests. Well, though I imagine they're the type of people that would be like, come on in, more the merrier. Right. But what's the longest because you recently moved into a house of which I was a guest? What's the longest you can take a house guest? Because I've been a house guest now for about 13 hours and I was looking on Hotel Tonight just in case.
The longest that I can probably deal with the person, depending on the person, is like 5 days. That's probably my max. Like after like the 5th day, it's like, all right, like what's the deal? Because at this point, now I'm on vacation. Right? Like when you have a guest, you know, for 1 or 2 days, it's like, all right, I can slack off of this, or I can let this go
Right.
by and not necessarily like have to be there or have to do this and blah blah blah. But at the point where it's going on to like a week, I'm like, all right, my life is continuing, you know, like I'm not on vacation. So I need you to figure out, what are you going to do? Are you going to, you know, be paying rent or what? Because I'm running out of groceries. I'm running
Where's
out
your
of drinks.
contribution to this party here, pal? If
You
you're gonna
know,
be
like
here for this amount of time, because it's only 30 days in a month, right? So that rent due
you've
on the
been here.
first.
You've been here about a fifth of the month now. Like when we get to a quarter of the month, it's far too long. So my max, yeah, 13 hours. I think you good. I think you can finesse your way through that. I don't think you necessarily have to get out of there. But
No,
if it
no.
goes on,
Don't get me wrong. No one's kicking me out of the door here. I'm good to stay here as long as I'd like to. But the thing is, it's just once you get used to having like autonomy over everything, right? Like, and plus too, like I'm acutely aware that right now I'm in a bedroom that is not mine. This plant is not mine. What if he wants to see this plant right now? What if he wanted to take a nap? Can't do it because I'm in here yelling at you, right? Now,
right,
is it a big problem that I'm in here yelling at you right now? No. But I do this every day. You know what I'm saying? At
right,
some point in time, I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow, looking at my computer screen and yelling at Rob Parker. So it just stands to reason it might be better for me to have a little quiet area where no one's going to bother me, devoid of crying babies and, other people's homes.
do they have a baby there?
No, but
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
saying, like at home now, there was a crying baby.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's different. When you were here, we had a baby. So it's like, yo, we gotta
But
we
I
gotta be quiet.
also,
Mhm.
speaking about scheduling travel, right? When I went to your house, I actually scheduled it so I wasn't the shows I had to do. I didn't have to do them at your house. I actually
Yeah.
scheduled it that way. This one I just messed up because I'm supposed to be in LA right now, but you know that's the reason why travel agents exist. Because
Well,
people like me cannot book their own travel.
I'm glad you could make it here with me today, Martin. I truly appreciate it.
Me too, bro. Me too. And so I want to end it. I want to end with this because I read this story today. Let me pull it up on my phone here. Ooh, that's not what I want. I want to pull up the video. All right. So TK, you and I have gone to our fair share of crazy parties, right?
Mhm.
We've had a
One of
good
which
time.
the
Now,
floor fell in.
one of which the floor fell in, right? That's
Well,
the
you were
type of
there, right?
story. Like I was not there, but you were there, and I've heard the story a million times.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris, man. And what I forgot what that is called, but it's something about how your kitchen floor is here and your living room floor is here. It's like ah, subterranean living room or something like that. In
It's
any
such an
event,
awkward position to be in.
yeah. When you broke someone's floor, yeah, because it's like, who do you even call for that? Who do you even call to if the floor literally goes out at a house party, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's at a venue. You feel like at a venue,
That you shouldn't be having.
yeah, like that's such a deeper call than mom. You know what I'm saying? You got to call like two guys in a truck to come and like pick your floor up off the floor.
Yeah.
That's next
That's,
level.
that's tough.
However,
Yeah, it's tough.
see, that's what I'm saying. That's the perspective that you and I have. That's next level, right? If the floor breaks at a house party, it's probably time to go home. So
100%.
I'll read you the headline of this article. Redneck rave in Kentucky descends into chaos after a man has his throat slit, a woman is choked in a fight over a blanket, and a man is impaled on a log, leading to charges for 48 people.
Say
Tens of
that again.
thousands. Redneck rave in Kentucky descends into chaos after a man has his throat slit. So this somebody literally had their throat slit at a party. Now, I was at an infamous party in Detroit in 2015 called the Mixer. At that party, it got cleared out by pepper spray, and anyone who was there remembers it, and honestly kind of remembers it in a fondly way, kind of like, hey, we made it out.
Mhm.
No one's throat was slit.
Mm-hmm.
No one choked each other over a blanket. And there was definitely no impaled by logs going on at this party. But just the rundown. Tens of thousands of people attended the 5-day Redneck Rave Festival in the small town of Mammoth Cave, Kentucky last week. Fun fact, I have been to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. Driving
That is
through.
not. Yeah.
I've been to Horse Cave and Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. Not much of a difference. Dozens of attendees were charged with a range of offenses from drug trafficking to felony assault. Some were left seriously injured as grisly scenes unfolded as what organizers billed as America's wildest and craziest country party. Of the more violent incidents, one man had his throat slit by a friend after a drunken fight, and a man choked a woman until she passed out. Several others suffered severed fingers. I'm sorry. Several others suffered severed fingers, broken bones, dislocated joints, and severe lacerations. I'm going to be honest. Of all the things that I just read out, the one that gets me, multiple people had several severed fingers?
Yeah,
Multiple
they were
people
playing.
had their fingers cut off?
They were probably
Oh,
playing that
you're
game.
okay. Okay. That's what I'm like, dude. What?
They're probably playing the game where you spread your fingers and you put the knife through. This is some wild. This is definitely some Kentucky shit right there.
Oh, because I'm like, how? So the first thing that came to my mind is, first of all, how do several people get their fingers cut off? But then the second thing was, why is that what jumped top of my mind outside of a man getting his throat slit and a man choking a woman out over a blanket?
Did they keep partying after this man's throat was slit? Like, is he laying on the ground bleeding out and they're continuing to play Five Finger, whatever it's called?
It looks like it. It looks like the throat slitting. This is a 5-day event, and it looks like, from the sake of this article, that the throats were slit on day 2.
Oh my God. This is out of control.
So just imagine, like, how bad does your Coachella have to go before you leave? Right? Like, how bad, do you stay after the gunshot goes off? Like, if I hear that somebody's throat was slit at this party, I'm probably getting out of here.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as the knives are brought out, I'm done. Like, why do you have a knife?
The knives in general.
And yeah, in general, why are you walking around with knives on you? So no, I'm out of here. That is some of the wild. That beats a floor falling.
Wow. The first vehicle that came through, we found meth, marijuana, and an open alcohol container, and one of the occupants had 2 active warrants. Police said to each other, "This does not bode well for the weekend."
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what were they drinking?
All of it seems.
Everything.
All of it. Some of these pictures are insane, man. Like, there's TikToks of it, Redneck Rave, and people arrested from Kentucky, Michigan, Indiana, Missouri, and Tennessee. No surprises there.
None.
But yeah. Oh, and a quote from the organizer. He said, the festival was the coolest thing he'd ever seen in his life. He thanked the police and fire departments to make sure everything ran as smooth as possible. He said, quote, "We can definitely improve on a lot of things to make the one in October run a lot better. This was the biggest event we've ever done and had as many people and random things that happened and popped up unexpectedly. I felt like we all handled it very well." So, TK,
sir,
I take it back. The J. Cole concert is the second least thing I'd like to do in October of 2021.
All right, man. That's great. You're not trying to head to Kentucky in October?
No, I would. I'll rather listen.
Knife.
I'll listen to No Role Models, and I'll make sure to bring my glasses and books while I'm at Rap Study Hall. because I just don't
listeners out
understand
there,
it.
listeners out there, would you please let us know, is J. Cole a sleepy artist or is Martin tripping? Because Martin is tripping. You don't have to
Look,
tell us.
I'm not saying, look, J. Cole is a good artist, right? In the same way that geography textbooks are informative. They're just not what I care to read.
This man just called J. Cole National Geographic. It's cold-blooded.
Well, in that case, let's wrap up the second episode of Let Me Ask You This, which is two buddies talking about life's, what is it, trivial topics and insignificant issues, and apparently bad rappers. All right, until next time, guys.
Wednesdays live on Twitch, and of course you can find us everywhere on all podcast platforms that you listen to. Martin, good talking to you, brother.